55 Jacksonville.
Frank, Hays, and JJ. Hit it! It's time for the Frangie Show on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right, we got a new drug. Today's new drug's a new football coach. We're working on the pronunciation.
It's Campanelli.
Campanelli, but somebody said...
That's from the Green Bay Packers.
Okay.
So that's what I'm going to go with.
Taylor Dahl from Helmets and Heels here in Jacksonville, Florida.
Yes.
Didn't she have someone on that said it's Campanile?
Well, and Jaguars Today had a great interview with a Packers reporter, and he gave a lot of great insight and great stories. He also pronounced it 3 different ways. And so finally, after listening to it,
That's tremendous.
I just called the Jaguars and said, how do you pronounce his last name?
Oh, you did?
I did. Okay. And they told me it's Campanelli. And then Amanda was very nice and sent me the Packers bio that has the pronunciation in it. So at least according to his last employer,
right,
it's Campanelli.
Well, there's nothing better than, in addition to talk show host, there's nothing better than the play-by-play guy getting the coach's name wrong. So I'm going to
right.
So I'm going to make Campanelli.
Campanelli.
Look at you doing a little research. You know what? Got to do the work, Hayes.
You don't
make it in this business unless you do the work.
That's right. That's right. I've got a quota. I've got to come up with something interesting every 6 months. So I'm good until camp.
You know what? And there's times you haven't hit that quota, but I think now you're doing awesome. So Campanelli is. I'm glad you said that. So Campanelli is how you say it. So that is the name. I will say this, and there's a lot to talk. We got a lot of stuff to do on the show today. Pete Prisco stops by at 5 o'clock. We'll ask him about how everything's going on. We have a defensive coordinator. I imagine there'll be an offensive coordinator. My guess is sooner rather than later. I don't have any insight. I'm just guessing. I'm guessing a GM sooner rather than later. So we'll see what happens on all those fronts, and then we'll have a better idea of where the team is kind of headed forward here. But I will tell you, I allowed myself to go down the rabbit hole of seeing all of Campanelli's videos. I like this guy. This guy. There's gonna be some beeps. Okay, when he's talking, you're gonna have to bleep.
That's fine.
Is it beep or bleep or whatever? There's gonna be boop. Did it beep?
I've seen Goodfellas, and I like to listen to Blink 182.
Yeah, right.
So
And listen, by the way, we all have moments when we're not on the air that if we were on the air, there'd be some beeps.
Right.
If I'm being honest.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so. But I like this guy. About every fourth word, I think, is a beep. So, but he's, by the way, joking aside, I talked to a few people today around the league, and I'm not just saying this, very respected, high energy, and I don't know him at all, but I did what everybody did. We call around. I know enough people in football, not just around the league, in football. He was at Rutgers before. And I probably, honestly, from where I sit, I probably know more people in the college realm than I do in the pro realm. And, this guy is a guy ticketed to be one of the stars. Great energy. And you know what? And I love that. The one thing, you want to make sure great energy guys, Hayes, can connect with the veteran guys. You know what I mean? The great energy guys are always going to connect with the young guys because that's probably what they had in college. That's how you kind of get to college players. But I'm excited. I think it feels right, doesn't it? Who knows? Someone asked me today, is he going to be good? I don't know that. He's never been a coordinator. Liam Cohen's never been a head coach. You don't know how the equation's going to play out. Nobody does, and you're lying if you said you did. But our job is to have a gut, right? And I've always admitted my gut tends to lean toward the positive. It's kind of, we are who we are, and I like I'm excited about the energy. I'm excited about where they are, and I thought that was the important hire because that's a head coach hire. He's head coach of the defense. I don't sense that the offensive coordinator and don't dismiss this, by the way. Offensive coordinators are important, even on teams where the head coach calls the plays. Don't think for a minute the offensive coordinator isn't important. He is, but not as important as the defensive coordinator, who, oh, by the way, is also going to call the plays. So the energy kind of excites me. I'd be lying if I said it didn't.
I think so as well. I mean, where this is sort of trending with the youth of this staff and the inexperience is it's either going to be a debacle or it's going to be fantastic. And I'm leaning towards it's going to be fantastic. I think what the NFL is at an interesting place. It feels like it is at a crossroads in terms of how it's being coached. And it seems like about half the teams are coaching from the 2000s to maybe 2015 range. And it seems like there's another half of the league that's more coaching off of what's happened in football over the last 5 to 10 years. And the Jaguars are going all in on modern football, on the shift that we're seeing in the NFL offensively, the creativity that's now involved in the game. And look, I think there is something to experience. I'd have been fine had they pursued Pete Carroll. I would have been fine if Liam Cohen had gone after somebody like let's say Ron Rivera as his DC, somebody with a lot of experience.
Something you said even a year ago.
Yeah, I do think that matters. But I will say this, if you're going to go all in on youth, which is what they've done with selecting Liam Cohen as their head coach, who we've talked about does not have an extensive history in the NFL, then go all in and let him surround himself with the best young minds with where the sport is going, because obviously Liam Cohen knows where it's going from an offensive side of the ball. What he's told us with this hire is that Campanelli, a very young coach, he's come up through the spread being the primary offense his entire life.
What a good point.
He never had to make the adjustment of what the heck is this? What is this tempo? What is this spacing? Like, this has been the world that Campanelli has lived in as a defensive mind his entire career. So there's probably something to be said for that. There's probably innovations that he's going to be more likely to come up with than an older defensive coordinator who was, trying to stop the I formation early in their career where everything was tight in a phone booth, and now is trying to figure out the tempo and the spacing of the spread that is absolutely now a part of the NFL.
Yeah, and so that is a really good point that I never thought about that. Most veteran coordinators, and some like Vic Fangio have done a very good job of it, but have to adjust from I formation, more plays under center than in the gun, because that's what football was. More plays under center to the gun than under the gun, or than in the gun till last 10 years, 15 years?
Yeah.
Somewhere in there, right? Somewhere thereabouts. And a coordinator who's only known that as a defensive, that's a really good point.
I remember when Tebow went to the Senior Bowl, which would have been, 15 years ago? And obviously in college, he took snaps entirely out of the shotgun,
right,
in Urban Meyer's spread. And I remember at the Senior Bowl, his first day, it was a big deal because he had to take snaps under center because no one in the NFL took snaps out of the shotgun.
Right.
So he had to take snaps from center, and it was an adjustment for him. That doesn't seem like it's that long ago, but it highlights how now in the NFL, a hefty percentage of snaps are out of the shotgun. So it's just reflective of how the professional football has just changed and how it's completely wrapped its arms around the spread that, it funny enough kind of originated here at the high school level, not originated, but was brought back into prominence with Craig Howard at Nice with Tebow. And then Urban Meyer kind of had the in vogue offense running the spread and brought it to Florida and won 2 titles. And, now you look up and we've talked about it in college. There's no offensive identity anymore. Everybody runs the spread.
Right.
Some variation of it.
So true.
And that's what you're starting to see in the NFL now.
I think it's pretty much the NFL now. Now, the NFL goes under center more than college, but for the most part, I think it is. I think it's a really good point. So,
like a Senior Bowl quarterback now, if all they did was take snaps out of shotgun in college,
right,
there's no way when they went to Mobile, they would make it a point to say, nope, you need to take snaps under center all week. Like, that wouldn't exist now.
No, I totally agree with that. All right, so a lot of things we'll talk about today. I got a lot of topics I want to get to. The off week between the Super Bowl and the championship game. The championship game is Super. I got a thought or two about that. I want to get to that. Who it affects, who it doesn't. Is it good? Is it bad? A lot of thoughts about kind of the infrastructure. We'll talk a little bit about that coming up on the program today. We'll talk a little bit about Anthony Campanelli. I'll get the name right. I promise you will. And why he might be good, why he might not. We'll kind of give you a little bit of his background and tell you what we do. And again, he's one of the coaches we hope down the road will be on the show one day. I would imagine Jags PR is very good about that. So I think at some point we'll get to visit with the coordinator. I will say this. Someone's going to say you guys were excited about Ryan Nielsen too, especially Hays and I when we met him at the Combine. He had that we thought he had that it. Well, you're right. And guess what? if this one doesn't work out, I'm going to be excited about the next guy. That's kind of the job. At least that's how I see it.
Well, and Ryan Nielsen was going through something.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows, how that affected him?
Yeah.
He did not have, a perfect – his wife was battling –
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
who knows? It was 1 year. All we got –
his wife was battling cancer.
Yeah,
That's right.
and, I mean, obviously, I think it was the wise decision to move off of him.
Right,
but we'll never really know how much of it was a family crisis he's going through and how much was
Very
that
true.
he just overmatched.
Right. But even in addition, all fair points. But even in addition to that, I'm not going to apologize for getting excited about the next thing.
Right.
I said something about how much I enjoyed meeting Liam Cohen, and we came on the show a couple days ago during his introductory, and I think somebody said, well, this comes from the guy that didn't want Peterson fired. Now he loves the next guy. Well, that's right. I was a big Doug Peterson fan, I wanted him to stay. But once he was fired and they moved to the next guy, I'm going to get excited about the next guy. That's kind of number one, who I am. I'm that guy. But even beyond that, I mean, isn't that more fun?
It is
more fun to be excited about what might be coming than to dread what might be coming?
It takes a lot for me to not be excited. Like had they hired, and I hate to keep picking on him, but Brian Schottenheimer, it would have been hard for me to do anything but crush the hire. And eventually I would have moved on and I would have gotten somewhat optimistic. But it would have been a really, really tough decision for me to handle. And look, at the start, I didn't have Liam Cohen really high on my list at all because of his inexperience. But again, what he has proven is he knows what he wants and he will go get it. And I admire that about him, and so he wanted his GM, he's going to get it. And obviously if he thinks the best direction for where the NFL is going over the next 3-5 years is to hire a bunch of young coaches on both sides of the ball, I'm totally fine with that. He has my full confidence until I start to see cracks.
Yeah.
But until I see significant cracks, which I'm not going to see for at least a year, because in my opinion, he walks into the building with a 10-0 record because he got rid of Balky. So for me, it's going to be a while. I'm excited. I'm going to be excited. I think there is something to putting all your chips in on this is where the game is going, and we're going to be at the forefront of that. For once in our organization's history, we are going to be innovative in what we're doing on both sides of the ball.
And that part's pretty exciting. All right, some other things that are exciting. I'm giving away another gift box from Spoonful Bakery today.
Nice, right in time for the weekend.
You better believe the food is so good there. The sweets are so good. You're going to win a gift certificate from Spoonful. You're going to hear a sounder. I'm not going to tell you. By now, you need to know what the sounder sounds like. We're not going to play it, but it's going to play sometime during the show. And then caller 3 after you hear the sounder. It's getting a terrific box of desserts from Spoonful Bakery, a fantastic online bakery. And again, as I said before, they do custom wedding cakes and birthday cakes, and they did your wedding cake, which was gigantic.
It was fantastic. It was delicious and gorgeous.
It wouldn't have fit in our studio here, but it was absolutely fantastic. So we'll talk all about that as we continue on. That's coming up today on the program. Pete Prisco is going to talk NFL. I got some NFL thoughts. I got some thoughts about the Jags and where it looks like they're headed with coach and coordinator. I got some thoughts about Tampa Bay's pissing us a little bit on this. I'm going to start the program with that. I do want to talk about Florida-Tennessee basketball. That's a big one tomorrow. I got some thoughts, maybe different than other people's thoughts on that. So we'll kind of get to that. We got a lot to do on the program. Glad you're with us on a Friday. Our Fridays, excuse me, always brought to you by our friends at Big Chief Tire Company. The folks at Big Chief are so good. Big Chief sponsored a big fan zone for us out at Walk-Off, and the sign just came in, and they were just fantastic, man. Big Chief keeps Jacks rolling, and we're so proud of our partnership with Big Chief on so many fronts. 5 locations in town. They're in Orange Park. They're on the north side, 2 on the west side, and here on the south side. If you need automotive service, oil changes, brakes, and, of course, those great tires, alignments, and the like, you want Big Chief Tire. Let's take a break. When we come back, I want to talk a little bit of Jaguars football. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
She's spunky, aggressive, opinionated, and she knows how to keep the boys in line.
It's good to see you, too.
Mia O'Brien, noon to 2 on 1010XL.
This is Hays Carlyon for Harrell & Harrell. I was at lunch with my good friend Holt, and he was telling me that sometimes a lawyer can get more from a case than their own client. I was surprised to hear this, but Holt said that doesn't happen with Harrell & Harrell. They'll never take a fee that is greater than their own client. When they say they treat their clients as a person and not a file, they mean it. Hopefully you won't need them, but if you're ever injured, call Harrell & Harrell at 904-251-1111. That's 904-251-1111.
Hi, I'm Frank Frangie, and I've depended on South State for my banking needs as long as they've been serving Duval. Whether you're saving for retirement, purchasing a home, starting a business, your goals are their commitment. With forward-thinking, personalized banking solutions and best-in-class service, South State is ready to help you navigate your financial journey. Connect at southstatebank.com or drop by any of the 5 local South State offices. South State Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell & Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
After consulting with several orthopedic specialists about my constant knee pain, I chose Southeast Orthopedic Specialist and Dr. Chris Swanson to handle my surgery. Their professionalism let me know this team was the one for me. The surgery was very successful, and if I ever have a future need, I'll continue to trust Southeast Orthopedic Specialists to take care of me.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Before the Great American Race on Sunday, the high banks of Daytona heat up with a Saturday night showdown in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Experience the intense competition up close on the sport's biggest stage to kick off the 2025 season. The NASCAR Xfinity Series at Daytona International Speedway, Saturday, February 15th. Tickets start at just $49, and kids 12 and under are free in general admission. Secure your seats now at DaytonaInternationalSpeedway.com.
Happy New Year from everyone at Nimnick Chevrolet. Now look, as they begin 2025, Nimnick is so excited to offer even more choices and better prices for you, ensuring your car buying experience is second to none. And if you're wondering where to go for a better buying experience, it's simple. Nobody but Nimnick. So here's to another year of driving forward together. And don't forget now, in this new year means new truck time at Nimnick Chevrolet. This month, you can save up to $12,000 off a new Silverado. Unlike most dealerships, Nimnick Chevrolet has the largest inventory on the ground, ready for you to explore. And with their extensive selection, you're sure to find the perfect truck at Nimnick. Available now, the all-new Silverado EV, designed to go the distance. It boasts 440 miles of range, more standard range than any competitor, and ask about a terrific low rate as well. So who's got more new Silverados at the best prices? Nobody but Nimnick Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Baloo here for Smoonez Vision. Why Smoonez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smoonez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smoonez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smoonez is fellowship-trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmoonezVision.com today. Care you can see.
Mia O'Brien.
Is going to be the first woman president of the United States of America.
Catch me weekdays from noon to 2 on Helmets and Heels.
And she could run later this year even, and I would vote for her.
All things Mia are driven by Arlington Toyota on 1010XL.
Here's Ben and John Lupo, owners of Beards Diamonds.
It's funny, my dad has sold people engagement rings, and now I'm selling their kids engagement rings and anniversary gifts and birthday gifts.
We're blessed with the relationships we've built over the years.
Check out our full inventory at beardsdiamonds.com.
Beards Diamonds in the St. John's Town Center.
Lowe's knows how to help make your Super Bowl 59 party a touchdown. Let us help you prep your home to host with top brands like Charbroil, Blackstone, and LG, so you can be the MVP of game day. Plus, use the Lowe's app to find what you need for a seamless shopping run. Or huddle up with our Lowe's Red Vest associates to help make all your game time hosting decisions.
Hey folks, Mike Dempsey here for Pella Windows and Doors. Look, it's kind of cooling down right now. I love opening my windows up this time of year. If you're looking to upgrade your windows in your home, I want you to visit the Pella showroom on Phillips Highway. Ask about their latest hurricane and impact-resistant windows and doors, rated #1 by Consumer Reports in all 3 main window categories. You want quality, style, and protection? Visit PellaJacks.com and the showroom on Phillips Highway just north of Bay Meadows. That's Pella Windows and Doors online at PellaJacks.com.
Value or flavor? Price or taste? Why choose when you can get both with everyday deals at Sunny's? Right now, You can get the pork big deal for 10, the pork and rib combo for 12, and all you can eat ribs for just $19.99. Yep, you heard right. All your favorites are now available all day, every day. And that's why it's always Sonny's here. Sonny's Barbecue, local pitmasters since '68.
Hi, I'm Mac with Baker Glass. If you've got fogged up windows, let me help. We'll replace them with clear, insulated units that brighten up your home. People say we're fast, friendly, and reliable. Just check out our Google reviews. Call me today. Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now back to a Big Chief Tire Friday on the Frangie Show. Big Chief Tire. Visit BigChiefService.com.
Dylan ain't afraid to play a little rock and roll on a Friday afternoon on the First Coast. I can tell you that.
Not at all. Well done.
How you doing in there, Dylan? You all right?
I'm all right. You know, I just pick music. I just say, I like this beat. And we come back to it.
Dylan ain't afraid.
Not a lot of thought to it.
Okay. This is Friday. Let's go music. What this is, Carlyon. I don't know what's over there in your chair, but Dylan in his chair is in. It's Friday. Let's go.
He's ready for the weekend.
Is he trying? He's a happy hour guy.
Without a doubt.
Denmark's a happy hour guy.
Yeah.
I think when Denmark walks
I've
into
seen
the
him
bar,
tailgate at Florida games.
Oh,
man. Oh, yes, you have.
Ain't afraid. That guy ain't afraid. Welcome back to the program. Do want to thank our friends from Big Chief Tire. The best place around if you need tires, automotive service, oil changes, brakes alignment. They do a wonderful, and they're just really good folks. So thank you to Big Chief Tire, always a Friday sponsor around here. I'm beating a dead horse, so it's the last time I'm going to talk about it. If Tampa Bay feels like it's in their best interest to keep their staff together and therefore not allow their people to interview for other jobs, so be it. If the rules allow them to do it and they're following the rules, I don't care about that. You do what's in the best interest of your franchise. I get it. And if that's what this is, and Kevin Carberry can't move and somebody else can't move because of it, it is what it is. You got to protect your franchise. And Jason Light, the GM, is paid to protect the Buccaneers franchise, no matter what the folks up in Jacksonville think. I get that. So if that's what's going on here, I have no problem with it. But if it's an anger, we'll show you because we didn't like the way the job change happened, let's move on. You know, and enough's enough. I'll say it one more time. You got a young guy with the offer of his life. He got countered with, we want to make it really good for you too, but you can't take an interview. And he was trying to get it right. It's clear the guy's a good dude. All right. There's enough people that know Liam Cohen now. We got to meet him for a little bit. I've talked to a lot of people that know him better way better already than we do. It's obvious the guy's a good guy. Yeah, I mean, say what you want. It's pretty. I mean, you can tell after enough time being around. He was great last night at the pep rally gathering. Come on, the guy left for the opportunity of his life. Well, we don't like the way he did. Let it go, right?
How dare you triple your salary?
Yeah, I mean, let it go. Well, it's not that he left. It's just that he lied. Stop. Okay, the guy had a day or two to make the most important decision of his life, and he tried to get it right. Billy Donovan, one of my favorite people in the world, took the freaking Orlando Magic job. The team plane with Jeremy Foley on it flew to Norfolk, Virginia to hire Anthony Grant, who was the VCU coach. Upon landing, got a call from Billy that he changed his mind and had to tell Anthony Grant, who went to the airport to pick him up, Anthony, sorry, Billy changed his mind. We're here for nothing. And Anthony Grant said, I get it. Billy's one of my best friends. I get it. Thank you for coming here. I appreciate the fact that I would have been higher on your list had he left. And they turned around and went back. That's what happens in life, okay? We have to stop this. Well, stop. Again, he's a good dude. He tried to get it right. He and his family wanted to do what was right. He wasn't trying to screw anybody over. He was trying to get it right. He didn't know what to do, and so it took a couple days to figure it out. So, again, if you want to block guys because it's in the best interest of your franchise, I get it. That's your job. That's what you're paid to do. I get it. But if it's to continue on this, well, wait till we practice with it, stop it. Okay, it's two professional franchises. It's coaches trying to do what's right in their interest. And I'm getting a little, and again, in fairness to the Bucs here, that might not have anything to do with what's going on here. It might simply be they want to do what's in the best interest of their franchise. And I understand that. And if it is, so be it. But we've got to stop the petty who's mad at who. and move on. It's a young guy who's obviously a good dude, who's trying very hard to do what's in the best interest of his family, and I'm a little annoyed by all of this stuff.
And it just speaks to how highly they obviously think of Liam Cohen. Because if you just thought he was just a guy, you wouldn't care. So
That's right.
It's somewhat, and it has been really from the start, it's been really kind of exciting and refreshing that not just Buccaneers fans, but that their organization is like, wow, we just lost Liam Cohen. That's not going to be good for us. This is what I would say. The Bucs are probably going to try to pick off of the McVay tree again because it works so well with Liam Cohen. So it stands to reason that until they hire the offensive coordinator, they don't want to just let coaches go because you don't know if the offensive coordinator that you hire, particularly if you are going to go down the Sean McVay rabbit hole, which Liam Cohen is a part of, and this assistant offensive line coach is a part of because he's with Cohen. So, I think it's just the nature of how this league works. It's a little more high profile because of the animosity between Tampa Bay and Cohen. But I say it's really the animosity Tampa has for Cohen. I think Liam Cohen, has no issues with the Bucs.
Agreed.
But but in looking at it, I would say just wait and see what Tampa does with its offensive coordinator. And then maybe if it is somebody that isn't linked to McVay, then maybe that at that point the coordinator says, okay, you can let these guys go. Let's let them go. I don't want coaches here that don't want to be here. So I would say, maybe be patient. Maybe in a week, this is a situation that will change. But but I think in looking at it, it is. I agree with you. There's no reason for Tampa Bay as an organization to do this out of pettiness. It's first off, you're punishing an assistant coach that had nothing to do with it. That's who's getting punished.
Right.
Is the guy that's an assistant offensive line coach that maybe has a chance to now go be an offensive line coach and have his own room. And so all you're really doing is punishing him by blocking him. My guess is it's not that sinister. My guess is if you got Todd Bowles and Jason Lick together, my guess is they would say, look, we had a lot of success with Liam Cohen from that Sean McVay tree. We probably are going to try and find a coordinator that is, from that same background.
They did, yeah.
And he may want these two offensive line coaches. So why would we let them go?
Yeah. And that part, I get, and I certainly do. So anyway, enough said. I've belabored that enough. But again, he's a good guy. We're just trying to make the right decision. He wasn't trying to screw anybody over, regardless of how it played out. to the what I expect. So here's what I think. And again, to be clear, there's no inside information. I don't think Liam's giving anybody inside information what he's doing. He's keeping it close to the vest. But the interviews with him, not just ours, but the ones I've heard, the ones he did with a group of beat guys afterwards, the defensive coordinator he just hired, the way he calls plays. I think this is going to be an aggressive tenure. He just hired a defensive coordinator who, if you haven't seen the videos yet, do yourself a favor and go watch them. Don't watch them near your kids, but go watch them. If you haven't heard his comments about savages, I want savages. If you haven't heard his comments about play to the echo of the whistle, and I mean the echo of the whistle, this is going to be a very aggressive tenure of coaching. That tells me, I'm guessing here. Now, let me be very clear. Who knows what but my guess is the ball's going down the field on offense. My guess is the defense is blitzing. My guess is you're going for it on fourth down. And I don't know that because Liam Cohen's never had to make a decision on fourth down because he's never been a head coach. But I'm guessing they're going for it on fourth down. I'm guessing they're going down the field. There will be balance. Obviously, he's known for his balance, but I'm guessing they're blitzing. I'm guessing they're fired up. I'm guessing it's going to get chippy with other teams from time to time. I sense that's where this is headed. I sense there's an aggressiveness in the way he thinks. It looks like with Anthony Campanelli, based on just a little bit we can tell, he's aggressive in how he hires. He's certainly trying to do this very quickly. So my sense is that this is going to be an aggressive play fast, think fast, walk fast, coach fast, down the field offensively, blitz defensively, a lot of all the things that go for it on fourth down, all the things that speak to aggressiveness. In the little bit of time we've heard from him, and this is just a guess, let me be very clear, nobody knows. He may not know yet, but I sense that's where this thing's that's where this coaching tenure is headed.
I agree. I mean, I would not be the least bit surprised if at various points throughout OTAs, training camp, certainly the week of the Texans game, if he doesn't have that Al Shazier hit on Trevor looped. So they can watch that time and time again, because I do think that the identity for the Jaguars, I think it's a good opportunity for Cohen and for Campanelli. I think they've got the players to be that kind of defense that can be intimidating. I don't think it's been really unlocked, but I mean, if you tell Josh Hines Allen and Trayvon Walker, play to the echo of the whistle, and if you get one or two flags, we'll back off at that point. Oh, I think they're going to fully embrace that.
And it seems that's who, every little bit of evidence we have in these 5 days, 4 days since he's been announced, is that's who he is. And look, everybody says that because that excites people, but I think this is pretty real. I think it, and I love that. I love everything about that.
Well, and it's been articulated by Liam Cohen in so many different manifestations that it's hard to believe it's not at the very forefront of how he envisions himself as a head coach.
Right.
That yes, the play calling, the offensive design, yes, that helps us put a lot of points on the scoreboard, but we are going to intimidate the opposing quarterback.
Doesn't he strike you as a guy? You can't do it anymore because the rules don't allow it, which I think is a little bit silly. But doesn't he strike you as the guy that's going to start the second half with a surprise onside kick? I can't do it anymore.
Yeah,
the leagues don't allow it anymore.
Right.
But if we still had that in the rules, which I still can't believe we don't.
Yeah.
But if we had that, doesn't he strike you as that guy? The guy that on the first series of the game, 4th and 4 from his own 38, is faking the punt. It just comes off like that to me. And we'll see. We'll see.
And again, I think that again, this is another thing where this is where the league is going. I was stunned to hear this stat in Washington's loss to Philadelphia in the NFC title game. They converted successfully 30 fourth downs this season.
Amazing.
Which was an NFL record. And that's with Dan Quinn, who, is more of a defensive mind. I mean, so I think it's where the game's going. I mean, why did Washington have the run that they had this year out of nowhere? Yeah, Jaden Daniels was certainly a huge part of it, but converting 30 times on fourth down was a big part of it as well.
No question about it. So a lot of more talk about Liam Cohen and the Jags and where they're headed when Pete Prisco joins us in about a half an hour. But when we come back, let's get it to college basketball. Florida, Tennessee, good rematch tomorrow at noon at Rocky Top. We'll talk about it after this.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show. From the Harrell and Harrell studio, don't settle for less than you deserve.
1010XL's Dan Hicken dominated Folio Weekly's Best of 2024. Best TV sports anchor, Dan Hicken. Best radio sports anchor, Dan Hicken. Best radio sports show starring Dan Hicken. 1010XL, the home of Dan Hicken.
Hi, folks. I'm Frank Frangie. If you have a sweet tooth like me, the sweetest desserts in town come from Spoonful Bakery. Spoonful is an online bakery. They deliver boxes of assorted desserts right to your home or office. They're so good, and they make for great gifts for friends or clients. And if you want custom orders, wedding cakes or birthday cakes, or catered desserts for an event, they are the best. Log on to spoonful-bakery.com or call them at 904-515-4984. That's Spoonful Bakery for the sweetest desserts in town.
Interested in a unique date night? Gibby here. I took my wife Nikki to Wick a Candle Bar. She made her own custom candle right there in the store. Shop local at Wick a Candle Bar. Locations in San Marco and Jacks Beach.
The Jacksonville Icemen are back at home this
Friday night as they battle the Savannah Ghost Pirates in a big South Division clash in downtown Jax. Friday is Retro Night as we rewind it back to the 1990s with theme music, promotions, and videos. So wear your 90s attire. Game time is set for 7 at VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena. Tickets available on Ticketmaster or by calling 904-602-HUCK. Iceman Hockey is hashtag Frozen Frenzy.
DUI, BUI, don't stress. Call me Malcolm Anthony at 285-4LAW. That's 285-4LAW for Malcolm Anthony.
If you need an insurance agent, I'll recommend the best guy in town, State Farm agent Craig Dewhurst. Call him at 940-9740. Really good guy, really good agent. Life insurance, homeowners, automotive, you name it, he'll handle it for you. Tell him what you need. He'll assess your whole situation. What kind of coverage do you need? How much coverage? What should your deductible be? What do you make and how does it fit your cost and your rates? You will love dealing with Craig. What a nice guy he is and how he'll help you get the right answers. The best in the business. Craig Dewhurst from State Farm, 940-9740.
Do you have clicking, popping, swelling, or pain in your knee or shoulder? This can be due to arthritic changes in your joints. Over time, you have wear and tear of your cartilage. I am Dr. George Bari, and here at Bari Orthopedics, we have numerous ways to treat your arthritis, such as regenerative medicine, including PRP and joint replacements with CT guidance for accuracy down to the millimeter. If you are experiencing any of these symptoms, call us for an appointment today or log on to BariOrthopedics.com.
Find out more at BariOrthopedics.com. That's BAHRI Orthopedics.com.
What could you do with an extra $75,000 right now, or even a couple $100,000? If you own a home, you can get that money in less than a week with Loan Pronto. Hey, Prosser here. Loan Pronto is the leader in quickly converting your home equity into cold hard cash, so you can pay off all your credit cards or start that home remodel. Loan Pronto has several easy options to let you access the cash from your home. There's virtually no paperwork, no cumbersome process, no junk fees, often no appraisals. Listen, the average homeowner now has over $300,000 in equity. That's your money. Use it. One client got $150,000 out and paid off all their credit cards, 2 car loans, and a personal loan, cutting their monthly expenses by $1,500. You can get approved in as little as 1 day, so act now with no hard credit pull up front. LoanPronto.com or 904-999-1508. Get the money you need for anything at 904-999-1508 or just go to LoanPronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Sometimes you agree with him, sometimes you don't.
On the runway, I'm coming in hot.
CBS Sports senior NFL writer Pete Prisco joins the Frangie Show Friday afternoons on 1010XL. Brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles.
The Electric Light Orchestra Experience featuring Evil Woman, the American ELO. A concert celebration featuring the music of Electric Light Orchestra. It's February 5th at Jacksonville Center for the Performing Arts. Tickets at fscjartistseries.org.
Cannonball!
Honey, someone's in our pool.
Oh, refreshing.
John, what are you doing?
Oh, hey, Dave. Seeing as how me and the guys at Clearwater Irrigation reinstalled your sprinklers after the pool contractor ripped it out, I thought you wouldn't mind if I took a quick dip.
But in a Jaguar print Speedo?
Yeah, Dave. My bad.
Clearwater Irrigation. We can't sing a lick, but we sure are good at sprinklers.
And drainage, too.
Bueller.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, pal, what's the matter?
I don't know about this air conditioner, Jason.
You know, my job is actually to...
I mean, 1 minute it's working, and the next minute it's not working. And every time I leave the house, I don't know if I'm coming back to a nice, cool oasis or a steaming cesspool of sweaty garbage fumes and dog farts, and then I'll never get to sleep. And I'll be too late to call someone. And what if I've got a big meeting the next morning and I haven't slept a wink?
Okay, dude. Stay cool. Or at least stay cooler.
But
Bueller Air and Plumbing can figure out why your AC only works sometimes and not all the time. We fix that kind of stuff every day.
You mean you can...
Life moves pretty fast. If you spend all your time worrying about an air conditioner that can totally be fixed, you could miss it.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Tailgate special alert.
3 pounds of marinated chicken, 2 pounds of marinated steak tips, 2 pounds of fresh ground beef, and 2 pounds of homemade sausage for only $80 to feed your crew.
For tasty tips and juicy breasts, choose Southern Steer Butcher.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Time now for the College Football Insider, brought to you by the law firm of Woolsey Morecambe on The Frangie Show.
All right, let's talk a little college football. The Woolsey Morecambe National College Football Report. Our buddy Tate Casey joins us from the Gator Radio Network. Does a great job working the sidelines there. Tate, how are you, man?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Yeah, we are great. Always good to talk a little college football. Let's start with the obvious. The Gators made a run at the end, and that was cool. And it was look, they won 4 games in a row. They played great defense. They played enough offense. What did you make of that? I mean, you had the best view of it. You had the view from the sideline, Tate. If they turned the corner, did they find the magic serum? What changed for the Gators?
No, I think the mindset. You know, if I'm looking just holistically, I'd say that the one thing you noticed in the second half of the season was the defensive identity and a little bit of the mindset. You know, the first 6 games, I could say, wasn't necessarily flying off the football, you know, that aggressive mentality we're used to seeing, especially on the defensive side of the football. But I think what you started to see was as DJ Lagway got comfortable and Graham Mertz after the injury in Tennessee, you started to see a little bit of defensive identity show up. And I think part of that's leadership, and the other part of that is you kind of got backed into a corner early in the season. And I think a really great job by Billy Napier kind of challenging his team in the locker room, especially after the Texas A&M game. You know, hey, we're still in this, and it's kind of us against the world right now. And I know that feeling is a little bit lonely, but at the same time, like, man, we got to get out and we got to go after it on Sunday.
Hey, Tate, it's Hays Carlyon. Thanks for being with us. What have you observed from DJ Lagway from a poise and leadership aspect?
It's a great question, man, and I will say this. The one thing that I try and avoid is comparisons, but it's hard not to look at DJ Lagway and how he holds himself, how he conducts himself, how his poise to Tim Tebow. In a sense, he's a very humble individual. He doesn't do a ton of talking. He just shows up and gets the work done. And from a quarterback perspective, that's what you love. To me, he's a competitor. You know, he comes from really, really elite level football in high school, highly ranked coming out of high school, very similar in that regard. But he also kind of took last year by the reins, and you know, he was able to hold the rope.
Let me ask you, let me go back to the comparison to Tebow for a second, Tate, and you know this better than anybody does, obviously. But in the 06 championship the game or season, he ran the ball and he was the running guy, and Leak was the main quarterback. But at some point, he had to change and become a really good college passer, right? He had to start having those 24 for 31 for 312-yard games, and he did. He became that in 2007. Can Lagway do that? Because Lagway obviously managed the game. He couldn't run because of the hammy. He couldn't run at all at the end. Yeah. Can he become that guy that is a real complete quarterback that you look up at one point and he's 25 of 31 for 315 yards? Can he be that?
Yeah, I personally, I 100% think he can. I think there's a little bit of dynamic there in the comparison. When you look at, and I'll give you an example, when you look at Tim, you know, in 2006, he was called upon to do a number of things you're probably not going to get out of Chris Leak. And I say that, you know, in a positive way, but 3rd and 1, 4th and 3, you knew if Tim Tebow was in the game and we're running, you know, power I out of the shotgun, Tim's going to get a first down. So there's a lot of differences. But when you look at Tim passing, you know, freshman season, I want to say he was still pretty consistent on a completion percentage. And I want to say his yards per attempt were probably, if I had to guess, higher his freshman year than any other year he was at Florida.
Right.
I don't know that to be 100% true, and jump pass probably didn't help his average there. But I'll say when you look at Tim in 2007, when I talk about grabbing the rope and taking the reins of a program, you know, he stepped into the driver's seat and he was ready for the moment. And I draw a lot of comparison in the preparation. And that's why I loved Graham Mertz so much as a veteran quarterback in the quarterback room last year. because the way Graham prepares in between the years from a quarterback perspective, he's got everything you ask for. And a guy like DJ Lagway, who's trying to navigate how to be a collegiate football player and what the preparation looks like, it's very similar to what you saw out of Chris Leak to Tim Tebow, passing that approach. And to me, DJ Lagway's got everything you could want in a quarterback. I would say he's got a returning offensive line that's a high spot next year for the first time that we've seen in a while. He's got receivers that are highly capable. He's got a stacked running back room. And when you look at Tim in 2006, I think it's very similar. You returned a lot of veteran receivers. You had a good running back room, a good core group of offensive linemen, and then a pretty decent, I'm biased, but a pretty decent setup at tight end for what we were trying to accomplish. And to me, if we're just talking about offensive side of the football, you've got everything you need coming in the recruiting angle to make this one of those years that Florida could really wow some people. I'd also say it's going to depend on the defensive side of the football, though.
Yeah, absolutely. And Tate, I'm curious now, that the season's obviously long passed over and things like this. Was Lagway's hamstring, in your opinion, was it still a real issue even against Tulane? Because in high school, he looked like such an explosive runner, but we never really got a sense of that, which I get because of the injury. But even in the bowl game, it seemed like he was, reluctant to really let loose as a runner. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I think that there may be a couple things there, right? I mean, Billy's the person who would give you the best answer if you could get it out of him. I wouldn't want to speculate on that, but I would say the last thing you'd want to do is, him go down in a bowl game against Tulane, not to take anything away from that bowl game.
Right.
But you also give him a really good opportunity to go out and play quarterback as opposed to needing him to run the ball 20 times too. So there's probably some good game rep experience from throwing the football and, managing the offense there without having to really worry about getting him hurt. And the other thing is he's still recovering. Hamstrings are really, really tricky. Depending, those soft tissue injuries sometimes they can take a little while to get over and they linger. But I think for Billy, you get a chance to get him out there, set up the offense, manage it, move it down the field, and play quarterback. And that's where those live game reps, I think, really come in handy. DJ Lagway is getting freshman experience that Tim Tebow never got. And I can't tell you how important that is when you turn around and look at the schedule next year to go face that schedule again. And now you've got a guy who's already been there, done that as a freshman. That's where you're going to see the value of those game reps the most.
Yeah, and I apologize. I didn't mean to put you in an awkward spot there. No. But I guess the best way for me to ask it is, do you think that next year we could see explosive running out of DJ Lagway?
I think you definitely could. And I think you may see even more creativity around, how you can prepare for certain teams and what you can do. I always felt that, Dan Mullen and Urban did a really good job of personnel and building around personnel. It's evident by, Percy Harvins of the world and, even Riley Coopers, and you can go down the list. I think you've got enough guys on the offensive skill positions that you can really do some damage with how you prepare and how you game plan against certain defenses in the SEC, because you've got a lot of skilled athletes. And that list isn't going to stop. With the guys that they've got coming in from high school right now, you've got a lot of really good receivers, some of them highly rated, even Vernell Brown's son that's coming in. I think that there's going to be some guys that'll probably wow you. And you return Trey Wilson, who you didn't see at all hardly last year.
Dave, what about, you said it'll depend on the defense. What about the defense? Look, Caleb Banks comes back, who's a very good interior lineman. I don't know what else is there. They've got a lot of ends. I love their linebacker room. I think the corners are good. I mean, it seems like there's a lot of personnel there. I said this to Hays earlier. I wish they had Pyburn and Searcy. All the other 12, 13 guys that left, I didn't care about. Those are the two that bothered me. But how good will they be defensively? What do you think?
Yeah, I think I always tell people that the championships are won in January through April, in my opinion. I think what we're doing right now matters more than almost anything else the rest of this year besides blowing the whistle and playing football. I'm in the same boat as you. The Pyburn thing kills me because, he's a Jacksonville kid. He probably grew up wanting to go to Florida. And the NIL market, let's be honest, this is the day and age where something like that can interject itself and maybe change your opinion. I think that's why you're going to see GMs in every university in college football come into the year. I think you're going to have a very different structure to this in the next 2 to 3 years. But when you look at Florida's defense right now, here's the one thing that I hone in on. Defensive identity and leadership matter more than anything. That held true as a player. It holds true when I'm looking at our team year after year. That's the one thing I look at and say, okay, we're not quite there yet. I think you lose Shamar, James. That's a tough one to lose. I think that Pyburn was one of those guys I expected to be a leader for the next 2 years. He's gone. So when you look at it, to me, I think you've got to have some guys step up, and some of that's going to be young guys. I look at a guy like George Gums right now, who came on strong at the end of the year, started to flash some brilliance. He's a young guy. You still got Caleb Banks. Tyreek Sapp is another guy that came on strong last year that a lot of people were expecting to hear that name 2 years ago more than they have, but he is really coming on into his group right now. And then from there, I think you look at some of these younger players that, in my opinion, are going to be studs if they stay the course. And Pup Howard would be one of them. I think Devin Moore, if you can keep him healthy at the corner spot. Dijon Johnson, the other corner spot, I think is really, really good. Jordan Castell at the safety position. And we're talking about a freshman All-SEC candidate 2 years ago, has played really good football, and Bryce Thornton and a couple other guys. So defensively, I think the skill set's there. And to me, Florida, in the last probably since 2019, and we can take it all the way back to Third and Grantham, our biggest problem has been the defensive identity. What kind of edge do you show up with? Are you carrying that chip on your shoulder that is the hallmark of every championship Florida Gator football team that we've ever seen? We haven't had that vibe around Gainesville in a while. You saw it the last 6 games of the season last year. What is that carryover going to look like? And are you going to carry that into the 2025 season? That's what I'm looking for. And is that, now we've got some Mullen guys out and you finally got all of Billy's blood in. What does that look like? And I'm telling you, if they can find that piece and navigate the no talent issues, I think you got something.
What do you make of the portal additions? Is there anybody, I know it's really early, obviously, but anybody down there that's generating any buzz that you're hearing?
No, not that I'm hearing so far, but I will say that the fact that you pulled a punter, and I know that's when we've gotten deep into the interview, Frank. When I'm talking about special teams, we've exhausted all options right now. But when you talk about what has been stagnant for Florida in a really good way, you've had the Townsend brothers, you've had really good punters and special teams over the last 20 years, really. Having somebody step in that's a transfer that has, played big-time ball, I think that's a good get for Florida. You return Trey Smack, that's another good get. Hopefully you've got a healthy Eugene Wilson and some of these guys on the return aspect. And then as far as the transfer portal, I don't know if it matters at this point. It's hard to answer because you never know if that transfer portal is going to play out the way you want it to. We've seen really, really good, right? And I can go back to Jonathan Grenard, Osiris Torrance,
Sure.
Montrell Johnsons of the world that have been, man, as good as you could have asked them to be when they got to Florida. Those are the guys you're looking for. I just don't know if, I don't know what the hit rate is on transfer portal guys. We're lucky to have DK come in, Pearsall, Graham Mertz. Like, we've had some really good ones, and I think that Billy in that regard knows exactly what he wants and what he's doing.
Yeah, I agree with you, and he's proven that, no question about it. Tate Casey from the Gator Radio Network, terrific tight end back in the day, and certainly does a great job with Sean and Shane on those broadcasts. Hey, thanks for spending some time, man. We sure appreciate it.
Anytime, guys. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, Tate Casey talking Gator football. That is the Woolsey Markham National College Football Report. Let's take a break and get it back to NFL football. Pete Prisco after this, so stay with us.
Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL. Climb aboard the Jacksonville Sports Radio train. All aboard 1010XL.
Rev up your life with luxury at Vaughn Motor Group on San Jose Boulevard. Right now, used car prices are 12% lower than their peak in April of 2022, making this the perfect time to drive home in a dream car. Specializing in luxury used vehicles, offering you elegance at prices that are finally coming back down to earth. See special listings in the newspaper every Saturday or online at vaughnmotorgroup.com for a complete inventory listing. If you can dream it, you can drive it at Vaughn Motor Group.
When you're a little kid on the playground, they tell you don't hit back. Well, the courtroom isn't a playground. And if you've suffered an injury or death in your family, I'm here to tell you it's okay to hit back and fight to make them pay. I'm attorney Brett Hastings, and at Hastings Injury Law, we understand all the pain and emotion that comes with being wrong. And we've dedicated our lives to making things right for people like you. So if you get hit back with Hastings Injury Law. Offices, Jacksonville.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
When it's time for new tires, you can count on Big Chief Tire for quality and value. Frank Frangie here. Their expert team will help you quickly find the right fit, ensuring a safe, comfortable ride. With quality options, fair prices, and quick installation, you'll be back on the road in no time. Visit WeKeepJacksRollin.com or call 904-932-0950 today to schedule your appointment and roll into 2025 with great confidence. Big Chief Tire keeps Jack rolling.
Discover the difference that local expertise makes at First Coast Lighting and Fans. Visit their showroom at the Avenues and browse high-quality products to match your desire for elegance, quality, and uniqueness at First Coast Lighting and Fans.
The 1010XL restaurant of the day.
Moss Fire Grill in Riverside. Happy hour 3 to 7 with drafts, margaritas, and handcrafted bites starting at only $5. Moss Fire Grill.
See you on the rooftop.
Learn more about the beautiful game of soccer and its impact on the River City.
What a beautiful thing to behold.
Get an hour of soccer talk on the Sporting Jack Soccer Hour.
That's all I want to know.
Tuesday at 6 p.m. on 1010 a.m.
We're certainly facing interesting economic times. For me, it's comforting to know my money's in good hands with ITP Partners. Jacksonville guys taking care of my Jacksonville money. Experience? Yeah, that's Chris Bryan, Jeff Hartman, Reagan Wright, Dan Abel, Scott Regner, Janice Cobb, and Reed Wingate. They have the expertise and knowledge to take care of your money. For more info, go to itppartners.com. ITP Partners, they're my financial partners for life.
Non-compensated client testimonial may not be representative of all client experiences. No guarantee of future performance or success.
Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning has your back. Start the year fresh. No leaks, no clogs, no excuses. Call Duck Rooter at 904-862-6769 today. Because when you're stuck, call the Duck. Right now, get $50 off any service of $150 or more.
The flagship station of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Need protection? Call Craig and Christine Kaprosky at Goosehead Insurance. The Kaproskys are a husband-wife team committed to finding you the right coverage at the right price in just a few short minutes. For home, auto, flood, or specialty insurance, Craig and Christine Kaprosky are the answer. Craig.Kaprosky at goosehead.com.
Hey, sports fans, it's Hays Carlyon from MyBookie. Eagles and Chiefs, this isn't just the biggest game of the year. It's the ultimate betting event. If you're not on MyBookie, you're missing out on the action. Big game betting with MyBookie goes beyond just picking the winner. We've got all the wild props you can think of for this epic showdown. MyBookie loves giving you options to bet on everything. What really makes MyBookie stand out, we make it easy to win and even easier to get paid. Whether you deposit with crypto or credit, bonuses await, and our new loyalty program gives you cash back just for playing. Bet on big game boosted parlays, live betting, and jackpots that can turn small bets into big wins. Fast signups, lightning fast payouts. This is where winners play. Why just watch when you can own the big game? Sign up with MyBookie now. Use promo code 1010XL and get your 50% sign-up bonus to kick things off. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere, only with MyBookie.
Rick Ballou for Carlson Dental. You know, I've been telling you this for quite some time because it's true.
I hate going to the dentist, or at least I used to hate going to the dentist. I had total anxiety, and then I tried sedation, light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation as well for cavities and root canals. Folks, it's an incredible experience. So don't be nervous. Don't be scared. Go to CarlsonDentalGroup.com. That's CarlsonDentalGroup.com for all of your dental needs.
Shopping for your Valentine and dreaming of seeing that smile? Then make sure you swing by Golden Diamonds Direct for a beautiful piece of jewelry made with quality and care. Joe C. for Golden Diamonds Direct in the Plantation Publix Plaza on Racetrack Road. They've been in business for over 40 years, taking care of customers the right way with great gift ideas. Golden Diamonds Direct on Racetrack Road in the Plantation Publix Plaza. Chip, Curtis, Sam, and the crew, they can take care of you so you can take care of your Valentine.
I'm Max Fink, here with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. The Jaguars announced that they are hiring former Packers and Dolphins linebackers coach Anthony Campanile. Campanile is one of the top rising stars in the NFL coaching world, as he ran one of the top rushing defenses in the league with the Packers last season. Campanile is known to be a great motivator, as you can tell from this clip from NFL Films' Hard Knocks with Miami, firing up the whole team a few years ago.
Everybody understands ass whooping. We might not be able to communicate, but if somebody getting their ass kicked, nothing's lost in translation. All over the world, they speak ass whooping, okay, to the day you die, okay? So here's what I'm saying. Let's eliminate that factor. They can't outwork it. Eliminate that, and let's do that. Let the chips fall where they may, okay? Let's all just commit to each other. That's what we're going to do.
It's 77 degrees at 5:02. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Time for all things Jaguars and NFL with Pete Prisco. The Prisco Report, presented by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles.
Showtime.
On the Frangie Show.
All right, it is time to talk a little NFL with Pete Prisco. He joins us from CBSSports.com. Brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles, the best in vintage cards, terrific autographed items. You know that by now. If you have a team you root for, head to Showtime in the corner of Phillips and Chad, where you can find them on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. All right, Pete, we're about 5 days into the Liam Cohen era. He's got a defensive coordinator, Anthony Campanile, from the Green Bay Packers. He spoke to the media a couple times, has Cohen. What do you think so far? Early impressions?
Well, he needs to work on his Duval a little bit, but
that's for sure. That's for sure.
I mean, look, everybody overreacts to so many things these guys do when they get announced, and none of it matters. None of it. I mean, you can go, remember Nick Sirianni's press conference was terrible. And I think sometimes we just get too caught up in all of it, and they're football coaches. They're not meant right away to be standing out there and be good with the media right away and everything else. So I think we read too much into it. Let's see how it plays out. I do like his defensive coordinator hire. He stole my chain, by the way.
I saw that. I saw your tweet, and it was fantastic.
I mean, my
by
God, we have the same chain almost. It's amazing. We got the Italian horn, the two fingers. I mean, it's unreal. But I like that video from the Hard Knocks. That's supposedly not who he is, and I don't know him, but talking to people, that's not who he is all the time. But I liked it. I like a guy who shows that passion and emotion, and so I think he's going to end up being a good hire too. So everybody will sit there and say, well, you need to get some veterans on that staff, and he probably does, and I still think he will. But I like the start so far.
Yeah, absolutely, Pete. In terms of the general manager search, how do you think it's imperative for Shad to decide what Tony Baselli's role is going to be and define that before going out to interview GM prospects? Just so the GM already kind of knows that Liam Cohen, is going to have a lot of pull and say. And so whether it's Baselli as an EVP or Baselli as an advisor or whatever, do you think that needs to be kind of clarified first? Is that the first domino that needs to fall before they can conduct the GM search?
No. Okay. I think they're already in the process of conducting the GM search, and Tony's going to have a role no matter what, and he's going to be a liaison, whatever they call it. He's going to be a liaison between Shad Khan and the rest of the building. Now, is he going to have input into everything? Probably not.
I think the coach has a lot more juice than he's ever going to ever had in that building, other than Tom Coughlin, who ran the whole thing from painting the walls to the ticketing to the marketing to picking the team and everything else. But he's going to have a lot of input. That's what, Liam Cohen's going to have a lot of juice. So I think the guy that they do hire in that spot has to know that. He knows there's going to probably be 3 people answering to Shad Khan, with the coach being the one who has the most power. And then they go from there. So, no, I think they're in the process now of looking for that guy, and I think they should be. And that guy's got to understand what his role will be. And I think that role will be mostly what it should be, a football guy. A guy's going to find good football players and do that part of the job more so than dealing with the minutia of the position, which a lot of GMs have to do, and a lot of GMs, quite frankly, don't like it.
Do you expect now, Pete, that the offensive coordinator and or GM hires will come quickly? I mean, the defensive coordinator came quickly. They according to their tracker that the Jags have put out, they've interviewed a number for both of the other 2 positions. Do you think when we visit next week, all of that will be in place?
I don't know if the GM will be necessarily in place, although you got to get them in place pretty quickly here because you're going through the draft process. But I think the staff positions will be in place. I think they will be done, and they should be, because you got to get on with your coaching staff. You got to start planning for the year. You got to start planning for the off season, and you got to have those guys in the building. So yeah, I do think the coaches will get hired. I love what he did keeping Heath Farwell, by the way. I really do. I think that was wise. It was smart. He's a good coach. Their special teams have been outstanding. And so far, look, you can criticize him for not hiring a defensive coordinator with a lot of experience. I don't mind that. I really don't. Now, I will say he needs to get some coaches on that staff who do have experience and have been around the block. And they've talked to some guys. They're talking guys out there. They've been linked to Chip Kelly a little bit. They know each other from way back in the day, and that wouldn't be a bad hire either. But, there's a lot of people out there also interested in Chip Kelly.
Pete, have you paid attention at all to the Senior Bowl this week? Do you have any impressions of anybody that maybe stood out?
Yeah, I watched the practices, and, look, there were some good-looking offensive linemen. There were some good-looking defensive linemen. I have a tendency, though, to, go back and rewatch the practice tape, and I'll watch the game. But I don't get too caught up in the Senior Bowl game or practices itself. And I'm going to go back to last year. Bo Nix wasn't very good last year in the Senior Bowl. Michael Penix wasn't very good the week of the Senior Bowl either. Bo Nix, and I likened this, I was on with a show today, and I likened this to and Frank's played pickup basketball. There's always a guy that can play pickup basketball with the great athletes, and he just doesn't seem quite to fit in right away. It's going to take him some time. He's got to come off screens. He's got to get, he knows how to pick and roll. And he's in the structure of the offense when they play a regular game. He's really good. But in a wild free-for-all pickup game, he's not. That's who Bo Nix was. And so he went to the Senior Bowl and didn't play very well. Well, now he's playing structured offensive football and quarterback for Sean Payton, and he fits. And so that's why I think sometimes we get too caught up in these all-star games. And I think you really got to go back and look at the tape. Now, there's things, if a guy goes there and gets overwhelmed, then I think you have to go back and rewatch his tape some. But I don't put the great evaluation on what happens in those all-star games.
Pete, we'll talk more about it next week. But for now, quick sneak peek ahead. How do you feel about the Super Bowl? You don't have to pick a winner, but, I mean, I like it, man. I think Philadelphia is tough and physical, and I like how they play. They remind me of the old Steelers teams or old Ravens teams or the Titans teams. In Kansas City, all they do is win, no matter how they have to win. How do you like the matchup now? I think it's going to be a fantastic Super Bowl.
Yeah, from a football strategic standpoint, it's fantastic. From having a repeat of a game that was there 3 years ago, or 2 years ago, it's not.
Yeah.
Because people want to see new teams in there. But I think from a strategic, just dive in football standpoint, it's fantastic. You talk about that offense, that run game. They run more than anybody in the league. They pass less than anybody in the league, and yet here they are in the Super Bowl. Now, it's different, because the quarterback can run, the quarterback can pull it, the quarterback can RPO it. That helps the run game. But now you look at it and you go, okay, well, what does Steve Spagnuolo, who might be the best defensive coordinator in the postseason we've seen, what does he do? What does he do to counter that? And how do you play it? Do you bring your extra linebacker on the field? Does Leo Chenal stay on the field for more snaps than he does, because he's a really good player, but he comes off in the nickel? Well, I think he's going to be on the field more. So I think there's a lot of strategy involved. it's not would you rather see somebody else there rather than see a rematch of a game from 2 years ago? Probably. But I think from a football standpoint, it's fantastic. And you got a king going for a three-peat. I mean, think about that. It's never happened in the Super Bowl era. It's happened kind of in the Super Bowl era. People kind of discount that. The Packers won the year that the NFL championship, the year before they won their first 2 Super Bowls, but they haven't won 3 in a row, and that's what makes this so amazing if it happens.
If Mahomes is able to get the victory, is he the greatest player, at least in his 20s? Does he get that kind of clumsy mantle, as best that's ever done it before the age of 30?
I don't think you wouldn't go too far on a limb by saying he's the best who ever did it. And I know he doesn't have the rings yet, that he wouldn't have the rings that Brady had. But you mentioned he's only 29. He'll have three-peated, which Brady never did. And sometimes we look at that and we say, you know what? Larry Bird and Magic Johnson won a lot of titles, but they didn't three-peat. You know who did? Jordan.
Right.
And that's why I think Patrick Mahomes is on his way to being Michael Jordan. Because if he gets the three-peat, he's only 29. He's got 4 with 3 in a row, and he's going to be the greatest of all time. And not to mention the MVPs and everything else he's done. So, I think he's on his way to definitely being that. But I think you could make a case for it if he does do it.
It's going to be I think it's going to be a fantastic Super Bowl. We'll talk about more of it next week when Pete Prisco joins us. Pete Prisco checking in from CBS Sports. Pete, thanks, buddy. We appreciate it.
All right, guys. Take care.
Pete Prisco does a great job. Nobody talks NFL better than my buddy Pete Prisco. He's from CBSSports.com. Always brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles. They do a terrific job. I can promise you that. Phillips and Chad, where you can find them on all those social channels, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. No matter who it is you root for, I promise you, you'll walk out of there with something from that team that makes you feel good. Head to Showtime today. Hayes has headlines on the other side. Stay with us.
Your home for Florida Gators basketball is 1010XL.
The Gators bring their 3-game win streak to Rocky Top. 5th-ranked Florida and number 8 Tennessee. Saturday at noon on 1010 AM.
Happy New Year, taco lovers. Don here from Taco Lou in Jacksonville Beach. Football season is wrapping up, but Taco Lou is still cranking out the tacos. If your New Year's resolution is to get back in the gym, remember you can keep the workout going with a taco in each hand or a taco in one hand and a cold Dos Equis or margarita in the other. It's practically my entire exercise regimen. Well, maybe all of it. Anyway, come in, relax, and be ready for a great year. Happy New Year from all of us at Taco Lou.
This is Josh Woolsey with Woolsey Morecambe. Woolsey Morecambe is your MVP in the legal game. Our team of skilled attorneys tackle personal injury cases with compassion and expertise. With fumbles like a car or truck accident, we're here to seek the compensation you deserve. Right here in Jacksonville, we've successfully won over $100 million and earned a championship-worthy record. When it's game time, you want a team that plays to win. Contact Woolsey Morecambe at 1-800-WOOLSEY. Offices, Jacksonville.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Follow Florida Gators men's basketball on 1010XL. Brought to you by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And by Renewal by Anderson, the official window and door replacement partner of the Florida Gators.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. When it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville. No matter the weather, Triumph has an unbelievable selection of rides where you can get out and just enjoy the highway.
They do. The new Rocket is out with the new color schemes, the Tiger 1200, which has been revamped.
These bikes are nice, gorgeous, and ready to ride.
And if you want to take a look at the selection, they can just roll into the showroom and see a full variety.
We've got them all in stock and ready to go.
So if you log on, cyclesofjacksonville.com, search the Triumph line, and then head into the showroom, you'll be impressed. Cycles of Jacksonville.
This is head coach Matthew Driscoll from the UNF men's basketball team. When our players suffer an orthopedic injury, Southeast Orthopedic Specialist gets our players back on the court pain-free.
We appreciate the endorsements from our high school and college coaches. This is Dr. Kevin Murphy. The next time you need orthopedic care, you can rely on our team at Southeast Orthopedic Specialist.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Dan and Jeff take you down the fairway with the PGA Tour professionals.
Keep an eye on this one.
Crunch with the Tour.
Tour news, tips, and inside info brought to you by
Clearwater Irrigation, 8:30 Tuesday morning on 1010XL.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code WEALTH to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code WEALTH for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code WEALTH for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwood. Underwood has completed 75 years in business, and now you are starting your next 75 years. If you were going to simplify things, what is the single most important thing in Underwood's history, and what will be the most important thing in your future?
Frank, that's simple. Our honesty and integrity. You know, our founder, H.F. Underwood's favorite saying was, know the truth and tell the truth. That's why we're the longest-standing member of the American Gem Society in Florida, because we know you have to have the knowledge about gemstones before you can tell the truth about them. That's why we continue to educate our staff through the Gemological Institute of America and the American Gem Society. In fact, today, Underwood's has the largest American Gem Society credentialed staff of professionals east of the Mississippi River. So come by and see why we're looking forward to the next 75 years and let one of our experts assist you.
That's at Underwood's, serving excellence since 1928. In San Marco, Avondale, the shops of Ponte Vedra, Underwood Jewelers.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Gather round. It's Hays' Headlines, presented by Harrell & Harrell. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Hear all about it. Here's Hays Carlyon.
All right, welcome back to the Frangie Show. Frank Frangie is here. We've got Dylan Denmark. I'm having dinner with Holt and Jesse Hill tomorrow night, so looking forward to that with my lovely wife, Jean. That'll be a lot of fun. Again, give Harrell & Harrell a call. Hopefully you won't need them, but if you're ever injured, 251-1111, that is who you need to call. Frank, let's start off with the Jaguars, and Liam Cohen hires Green Bay's Anthony Campanile.
Right.
So we're now getting
got
it from the horse's mouth.
Yep.
We now have a YouTube video where he actually says his last name. Thank you to Taylor Dahl for bringing that to my attention. Taylor Dahl is going to get another shout out later in headlines in about 15 minutes, Frank, just so you're ready.
Good day to be Taylor.
Yes, the 42-year-old Campanile will be a first-time defensive coordinator. He was Green Bay's linebackers coach and running game coordinator last season. He also spent 4 years with the Dolphins as linebackers coach.
Yeah, look, everyone says, how's he going to do? Nobody knows. We don't know. We haven't seen these guys work as coordinators before, so you don't know. I choose to be positive about these matters, and I love his energy. The videos I've seen have excited me. Looks like he's an intense guy. I'm going to guess he's going to be aggressive. I have no idea if that's true or not, but his personality seems to be intense and aggressive, and I can't wait to see him work here in town. Looking forward to it.
Cohen is also interviewing 28-year-old Grant Uditsky for offensive coordinator, according to Tom Pelissero. He is the assistant offensive coordinator for the Vikings, 28 years old.
Yeah, he's young. Nate Shieldhouse is early 30s. So certainly at least two of the coaches he's interviewed for offensive coordinator are very young. And look, Campanile's young. He's 42. So, it's going to be it has the looks of a staff that might be a young staff. Heath Farwell's a young guy. Hey, young energy, that's what he wants. And again, I'm going to trust Liam Cohen on these hires. There's no way of knowing until you see him work. But I'm excited about watching him go through the process.
ESPN's Jeremy Fowler says Liam Cohen is interviewing Austin Gund from the Bills for offensive line coach. Gund has been with the Bills since 2022 as the assistant offensive line coach, and he is 17 years old.
Well played. I don't know much about him, but again, I like that he's going through the process quickly. I think you're going to look up, and I agree with Pete Prisco. There's a defensive coordinator in place. My guess is sooner rather than later there will be an offensive coordinator in place. How soon the general manager comes about, I don't know. But I would guess you're going to see an offensive coordinator sooner rather than later.
Yeah, and in all seriousness about Austin Gund, he was before the Bills. Again, he arrived in 2022. He was at Wake Forest for 2 seasons before that. So another very young guy, somebody who is certainly got a lot of their coaching career ahead of them. So staying with the theme of very young staff. Again, we'll see if Austin Gunn ends up getting the job.
Yeah,
but a very young man.
Yeah, he's a 2015 graduate of Wake Forest. So he's probably a guy around 30 years old, give or take.
Yep. Fan event was last night.
Of Richmond, I'm sorry.
Right.
About that. Sorry.
The fan event was last night at the stadium. We all had a great time. Liam Cohen was asked about many things. He was asked about that 5th overall pick, which was really funny. He kind of bounced his answer around a little bit. But, Frank, did you take anything out of anything that Liam Cohen said last night?
Yeah, I thought he was no, not because, again, remember we had him on, and then we've heard him do other interviews. I don't think there was anything new. I like the way he handles himself. He seems like a regular guy that's happy, man, and upbeat, positive, regular guy. That's what I took out of watching the comments from last night.
The Super Bowl is getting close, about 8-9 days away. Which defense do you trust more? The Chiefs were 4th in scoring defense this season. The Eagles were 2nd.
Yeah, I think the Eagles have the better defense, but I think it's close. I think they're both. That's the untold story here, Hays, is everybody knows that Saquon Barkley and Patrick Mahomes are in the game. Everybody knows that Jalen Hurts and Travis Kelce are playing in the game. But nobody's talking about the defensive guys because you look at those groups collectively, right? I think it's 2 outstanding defenses. I think the Eagles are marginally better defensively. I would have said that even if you hadn't read out the numbers. I think the Chiefs are better offensively. Yeah, it's gonna be. I'm telling you, it's gonna. I'd be surprised if it's not a fantastic Super Bowl. I really would. Neither one of these teams, in my opinion, are routable. I don't think there's any danger you're looking up and it's 28-6 somebody. I just don't think
I would be shocked as well. I agree. Let's get to college basketball. The game of the day tomorrow is Florida at Tennessee. The Gators are 5th in the net rankings while Tennessee is 4th. UF hasn't won in Knoxville since 2014.
I'm going to touch on this a little bit more after headlines, but I'll give you a little sneak peek. I think Florida should make this their most physical game of the year. You foul out, you foul out. I'm not saying it's a house money game. There's none of those. But this is a game where you're 5-2 in the league. They're 4-4 in the league. I'm telling you, Hayes, this is a game that I would play with great physicality. This is a game that the physicality is what really flustered Tennessee last week. That's again, the equivalent is if I was a defensive coordinator, I'd be blitzing every down. It's a game you're playing. If you lose it, you lose it. But you go deep early, and you might sweep them. So that's the kind of game I think it is for Florida. I'm picking Tennessee to win. They're a 4.5-point favorite. They're at home. They're probably going to win the game. But I'd be all in with physicality if I was the Gators.
Yeah, I think that's a good plan. Let's get it to the Rumble, our first Rumble of the season tomorrow. UNF at JU. What are some keys for both teams in this one?
Well, I would say the strategic keys are the same as they always are. UNF's going to try and make a bunch of threes. JU's going to try and defend them and stuff them and run and defend and rebound. That's how they're built. UNF at times is better defensively than they have been in the past. At times they haven't been good. JU at times can really shoot it. At times they haven't shot it well. The psychology of this game for me is how does JU overcome the loss on Wednesday night when at home they blew a 24-point lead, and somehow let a game get away from them. They were on their way to being 8-1 in the league and in sole possession of first place. Hayes, they were up 78-71 with about a minute to play and lost the game. And listen, they missed a bunch of free throws down the stretch. They gave up some wide open threes down the stretch. In my opinion, and by the way, this is a good matchup. Don't look at the records in the conference. These two teams are both very good. And it's going to be a heck of a game tomorrow night at JU. It really is. But in my mind, the story of the game will be, or the psychology of the game will be, how does JU mentally bounce back from letting one get away that really had to eat at them?
Without a doubt. Let's get it to Major League Baseball. Max Scherzer signs with the Blue Jays on a one-year, $15.5 million deal. The 40-year-old is an 8-time All-Star with 216 career wins and 3 Cy Young Awards.
I'm really interested to see what he's got left. Max Scherzer's the ultimate bulldog, so whatever he's going to get every ounce of that he can out of the talent he has left, but he's 40 years old. And a 40-year-old, not everybody can still throw hard. There's not a lot of Nolan Ryans out there that are throwing as hard at 43 as other people are at 23. But I like Scherzer. I like the fact that he's a bulldog. He and Justin Verlander have been awfully fun to watch in these last 2 decades for sure.
ESPN ranked the best farm systems in Major League Baseball. How is this possible? The Dodgers are first with 8 top 100 prospects.
Yeah, the Dodgers are a truly, truly great franchise. They went and got the GM from Tampa Bay many years ago, and he's done everything he did in LA that he did in Tampa, which is build the farm system. And oh, by the way, he's got $400 million a year to work with at the major league level. It's a great franchise. It's one of the great franchises in pro sports right now.
The Tampa Bay Rays are 5th. The Pirates were 20th, and the Braves 27th.
Yeah, and remember, that changes a lot. Last year, the Pirates were 5th. The year before that, they were 1st. So what happens is you bring up your guys.
Right.
Did you do a good job of developing them after that? Listen, I don't want to say that's not important, but the Pirates were in the top 10 in that thing 5 or 6 years in a row, and the team's still not very good. Mm-hmm. So to be good at the major league level, you got to be willing to go get proven guys, not just guys you develop.
Houston was the worst team according to this list,
and they may win the World Series.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I mean, seriously, that proves it.
Absolutely. Let's get it to some pop culture. Happy birthday wishes to actor Gene Hackman, who turned 95 on Thursday. Hackman won Oscars for his performance in The French Connection, Best Lead Actor, and won Best Supporting Actor for Unforgiven, the Clint Eastwood Western. But to us, he will always be Norman Dale. Dylan, hit it.
There's a tradition in tournament play to not talk about the next step until you've climbed the one in front of you. I'm sure going to the state finals is beyond your wildest dreams, so let's just keep it right there. Forget about the crowds, the size of the school, their fancy uniforms, and remember what got you here. Focus on the fundamentals that we've gone over time and time again. And most important, don't get caught up thinking about winning or losing this game. If you put your effort and concentration into playing to your potential to be the best that you can be, I don't care what the scoreboard says at the end of the game, in my book, we're going to be winners.
All right.
I'm ready to go play. Who doesn't love Norman Dale? My power poll in reverse order: French Connection 3, No Way Out 2, Hoosiers 1.
Nice.
That is my Gene Hackman power poll.
Yes.
And I respect all the others, but that's my power poll.
And thank you for the tidbit that it was Gene Hackman's birthday. I appreciate it.
Love Gene Hackman.
We're going to stay with pop culture. This is brought to my attention from our horror movie correspondent, Taylor Dahl. According to multiple reports, Frank, Matthew Lillard will reprise his role as Stu in the upcoming Scream 7. Lillard played one of the 2 killers in the first Scream movie released back in 1996. That's the last movie he was in. His character dies at the end of Scream, so it'll be interesting to see how they write around this. But he does die in a way in which you could maybe explain him coming back, but regardless, whether it will be that his character is still alive or maybe it'll be in some dream sequence, Matthew Lillard back to the Scream franchise. Scream 7 will hit theaters on February 26th, 2026.
2 or 3 thoughts. First of all, Taylor does that just to get at me. She's giggling right now wherever she is. That's first. Secondly, that's not Shaggy.
It is Shaggy.
So stop. Shaggy's not in a horror movie.
Yes.
No, that
was like one of his first big movies.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Just, first of all,
and he's real goofy.
Shaggy.
I'll be interested to see if
Shaggy slash the catcher in Summer Catch is in a horror movie.
Yeah. He was in one of the most iconic horror movies ever.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Well, that's just dumb.
He was one of the first killers.
Is Taylor still here?
There's
I'm going to go yell at her.
Killers at the end of the first screen. He's one of the two killers.
Taylor left.
Spoiler alert.
I'm going to go
for
yell
a movie
at her.
that's 29 years old.
I didn't know that.
But yes, I appreciate Taylor Dahl bringing that to my attention. It's exciting news for horror fans out there, and we will get you out on our musical note of the day. Happy birthday wishes to Phil Collins, who turned 74 years old this week. Between his solo career and work with Genesis, Collins has sold over 150 million albums worldwide. He is an 8-time Grammy winner. This is In the Air Tonight.
Oh, what a great song. What a great artist. Great drummer, too, by the way. The great Phil Collins. Well done, as always, on Headlines. Back to wrap the program after this.
Ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is Brent Musburger's Visa in Action update on 1010XL. Brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
NASCAR will be running its exhibition race at Bowman Gray Stadium in Winston-Salem, North Carolina on Sunday. It's the Cookout Clash at Bowman Gray. It's 200 laps on the main event on a quarter-mile track, and NASCAR returning to Bowman Gray for the first time since 1971. 23 drivers will participate in the main event, determined by 4 heat races and 3 at-large additions. Last year's series champion Joey Logano is the betting favorite at plus 800. Kyle Larson plus 850. Chase Briscoe and Christopher Bell are both plus 900. Ryan Blaney, Denny Hamlin, and Kyle Busch all plus 1100. Earn cash back on your gaming transactions with the G-Bank Signature Visa Card at vsin.com/GBank. I'm Tony Desiri with your Visa in Action update on 1010XL.
New Year's resolutions. But let's be honest. By February, that gym membership is just a $50 a month guilt trip.
So why not take that cash and finally fix your leaky faucet, unclog that drain, or tune up your AC?
Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning has your back. Start the year fresh. No leaks, no clogs, no excuses.
It's a resolution you'll actually keep.
Call Duck Duck Rooter at 904-862-6769 today. Because when you're stuck, call the Duck. Right now, get $50 off any service of $150 or more.
Hey, sports fans, it's Hays Carlyon for MyBookie. Find your New Year's stride with MyBookie. Take advantage of their live betting, especially if a heavy favorite gets off to a slow start. And check out their cool prop bets. If you haven't signed up, go to mybookie.ag and register for a free account. Use promo code 1010XL to get a 50% bump on your first deposit. For a limited time, MyBookie will add 50% to your initial deposit. Let's take a look at some updated MyBookie lines. The Chiefs are a 1.5-point favorite in the big game over the Eagles at the Superdome. The over-under is 49.5 points. There are also great player props that you've got to check out. Sign up with that promo code 1010XL to claim your deposit bonus. Again, it's a 50% bonus. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. And don't forget that promo code 1010XL.
This is Richard Miller with your Showtime sports cards and collectibles update. Last week was the release of the Fanatics Under Wraps mystery MLB jersey boxes. You can chase authentic autographed baseball jerseys of names like Griffey, Judge, Ohtani, and Harper. Under Wraps MLB jerseys at Showtime. Sports cards and collectibles. Update your collection.
Frank Frangie here for Bono's Pit Barbecue. It's cold outside, and the best way to stay warm this winter is with the new Bono's limited time offer, a signature Bono's barbecue sandwich paired with your choice of savory super chili, starting at just $11.99. Your choice of a pulled pork, smoked turkey, smoked sausage, char-grilled chicken, or beef brisket sandwich, plus a bowl of a hot, delicious soup or chili. You can't beat that deal, so hurry into Bono's. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Hey folks, Rick Ballou here for John's Auto. They've been a staple in Jacksonville going all the way back to 1985. At John's Auto, they service all makes, all models. Cars, trucks, diesel, you name it, they do it. Whether it's routine maintenance or a complete engine overhaul. Call John's Auto on Arlington Road. That's 904-743-3857. Or go to johnsautomotivejacks.com.
Some people say the best thing about the big game is the story.
It's what you dream of.
Stories about the stars.
I remember being in the backyard.
Stories only they can tell.
That's what I wanted to do.
Big game coverage on 1010XL is viewed through Window World of Northeast Florida.
The Jacksonville Icemen are back at home this Friday night as they battle the Savannah Ghost Pirates in a big South Division clash in downtown Jacks. Friday is Retro Night as we rewinded back to the 1990s with theme music, promotions, and videos. So wear your 90s attire. Game time is set for 7 at Five Star Veterans Memorial Arena. Tickets available on Ticketmaster or by calling 904-602-HUNK. Iceman Hockey is hashtag Frozen Frenzy.
Our slogan, Know Before You Blow, applies to more than just DUI cases. Hi, I'm attorney Lee Lockett of Lockett Law. Battery charges can result in jail time and criminal convictions too, so know before you blow a gasket and hit a loved one or a stranger. Drug crimes like possession of marijuana and cocaine will land you in cuffs too, so know before you blow. In a boating under the influence case, you also have the option to blow or not to blow. So know your options. Know before you blow. Go to knowbeforeyouBlow.com now. Offices Jacksonville.
Hey gang, Prosser here. If you think you have problems related to the need to sell your home, we have solutions. And by we, I don't mean me. I mean ChadandSandy.com. That's Chad, A-N-D, Sandy.com. Call them today at 904-414-6200. Look, the problems could fall into a variety of areas. Maybe you want guaranteed no-hassle home sale, but don't want to give up hard-earned equity to do it. Maybe you need more space with a growing family. Doesn't matter what the problems are. You go to Chad and Sandy. Those problems are fixed. With all the recent talk about interest rates and economic uncertainty, you may be wondering if now is the right time to sell your home. Will you get the price you need? What about repairs or showings? The good news, you don't have to figure it out by yourself. You call my agents, Chad and Sandy Newman. They will deliver. Your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. No required cost of repairs. Pick your move date. No long-term contracts. The success stories are rolling in from all over town. Find out for yourself. Call Chad and Sandy today. That's Chad, A-N-D, Sandy.com.
Hi, folks. I'm Frank Frangie for Ricketts Electric. Now, any good lineup needs power. When I needed a power connection for our new Walk-Off Charities baseball park, I found the perfect partner in Ricketts Electric. You're going to love these guys, I'm telling you. The Ricketts family has been providing commercial and residential electric service for years. So call my buddy Zach Ricketts today at 904-320-5960, and you can find them on Facebook as well. You will trust them. That's Ricketts Electric, the city's best power connection. Call them today at 320-5960.
The Florida Forum welcomes best-selling author and journalist Carl Hiaasen, February 12th. Funds raised go to a Kids Care Mobile ICU, a neonatal and pediatric critical care transport vehicle. Kids Care vehicles and helicopters safely transport more than 2,200 infants and children a year to Wilson Children's Hospital. Get your tickets at thefloridaforum.com or call 202-2886. 202-2886.
Matt Hays here for Prize Picks. Download the app today and use code JAX to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's promo code JAX to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game.
Interested in a unique date night? Gibby here. I took my wife Nikki to Wick a Candle Bar. She made her own custom candle right there in the store. Shop local at Wick a Candle Bar. Locations in San Marco and Jacks Beach.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555, Jacksonville. Now, the Cool Down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since 1987.
All right, where we've been today on the program, we talked about Anthony Campanile, the brand new defensive coordinator, and an energy guy, it looks like. Can't wait to see him work under Liam Cohen. We talked a little bit about Liam last night. Did a fantastic job, as you might imagine. Look forward to seeing him coach the Jaguars. Pete Prisco stopped by at 5 o'clock to talk a great deal of Jaguar football and NFL football, maybe a sneak peek at the Super Bowl. And Tate Casey was here at the Woolsey Markham National College Football Report talking all about the Florida Gators, and that is today's Cool Down.
Play something sweet. Play something mellow.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Did you hear that?
It's time.
Uh-oh. You know what that means? That sounder
Start
means.
calling.
Caller 3 at 641-1010. You're getting a gift certificate for the box of desserts from Spoonful Bakery, an online bakery that is fantastic. I mean, the desserts are just off the chart. They also have custom orders, wedding cakes, birthday cakes, catered desserts for an event, you name it. You can call them at 904-515-4984. That's 904-515-4984, or go to spoonful-bakery.com. So there you go. Someone got to. You never know when that thing's going to play, Hays.
That's right.
It comes out of nowhere. So anytime you hear that sounder on this program, you get a box of desserts, a gift certificate for a box of desserts delivered to your door, by the way. That's pretty good stuff.
Absolutely.
So there you go. Caller 3. I'm sure they're loaded up right now. So Dylan is managing them as we speak. So my take on Florida, Tennessee tomorrow. I didn't get to it until other than in headlines. You're 5-2. They're 4-4. This is going to be one of your 2 hardest games of the year. One of your 2 or 3 hardest games of the year. You still got to go to Alabama and Auburn, which are really hard games. But you've already beaten them once. They are going to be loaded for bear. They are going to be, absolutely. This is the revenge game of all revenge games. And they're coming off a loss at home to Kentucky. So it's going to be a really hard game to win. I'd want to get in their grill physically right out of the gate. If you get called for some fouls, you get called for some fouls. But you beat them by winning the street fight, and that's why Florida won by 30 the last time the 2 teams played. They won the street fight. I don't know that they're overall a better team than Tennessee. I do think they're a more physical team than Tennessee. Tennessee's very good defensively. But I thought Florida really took Zakai Ziegler out of his game, and he's one of the better point guards in the country. And I think Martin played him a lot. Clayton played him some, but Martin's the defender. That's how I would play tomorrow. If you told me at 2:30 tomorrow after the game that Florida had 3 players foul out and they lost by 8, I'd say, you know what? I'm okay with that. But I think it's a game of physicality, and you beat them by 30 last time. It's a little bit. It's not a house money game. That's the wrong phraseology. But it's not as urgent because you've already beat them once, and you're not news bulletin. You're not going 16-2, so you're going to lose some other games in the league. Try like crazy to win the game. But I would try like crazy to win the game by being more physical than Tennessee.
Yeah, without a doubt. And Florida did that in the first matchup. They outscored them in the paint 40-14, which is
40-14,
extraordinary. And Tennessee is reeling. They've lost 3 of 4. So if you're Florida and you can get that physical presence established early and weather the early storm and get to the 10-minute mark, and it's you've got a 20 to 16 point lead. I mean, you'll be in great shape. It's a brilliant matchup of strength versus strength. I mean, this is about as good as it can get. So Florida is 7th in the country in scoring offense. They average 85.2 points per game. So 7th in the country going up against the 4th best scoring defense in the country. Tennessee gives up 59.3 points. So you've got number 7 on offense going up against number 4 on defense. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that in sports.
Yeah, and so it's, and again, it's not one. Again, I don't think Florida's going to win. I also don't think it's devastating if they don't win. Now, these 4 games are just a really hard 4-game stretch.
It'll say a lot about the Gators, I think, if they win tomorrow.
Oh, no question. If what you don't want to do is go 0-4. So, and you really don't want to go 1-3. But so no matter what happens tomorrow, you got to beat Vanderbilt at home. Who's good? Vanderbilt's good now. This isn't a well, you'll win that one. You may not win that one, but it's a very tough stretch. And then your next 2 games are at Auburn, who I think is the best team in the country, the top-ranked team, and at Mississippi State, who's really good. So, I mean, this Mississippi State built a good program over there now. You know that they're legit. So it's in a tough league. This is the toughest stretch, Hays, and I think we've said all along, I'll stand by it. Find a way to go 2-2, don't you think?
Yeah, I think so. All 4 of the teams are in the top 37 in the net. Vandy is 37th. That's the one Florida's got to get. But it's if a team's in top 40. I mean, Vanderbilt's a tournament team right now. They're 3-3 in quad 1 games, so they're certainly capable. They've got 3 really big time wins already. Mississippi State is 24th in the net, so they have fallen back a little bit, but still 16-5. They're 4-4 in quad 1 games. So again, they've done very well. We obviously know what Tennessee is, and Auburn is clearly the best team in the country. Like Lenardi is already starting to write, like Auburn can lose a game or two, and they're still the number 1 overall seed. Right. So, I mean, again, what Auburn's done in Quad 1, I mean, I don't think I've ever seen anybody be 12-1 in Quad 1 games. Again, right. Houston is second in the net. They're 3-3 in Quad 1 games. Auburn is 12-1. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And so you're absolutely playing the best team in the country in Auburn. And Janai Broome should be pretty close to 100% if he doesn't have any setbacks between now and then. He's already returned from the injury. And so, yeah, I would say if you can go 2-2, Florida will be in great shape. It's not going to help you in terms of trying to win the league, but I think that's sort of a pipe dream now with as strong as Auburn looks. And look, Alabama's also 7-1, so to try and catch them when the only time you play them is in their house makes it very, very difficult. I would say a realistic goal for Florida when it comes to the SEC is get a top 4 seed in the tournament, then you get the double bye into Friday. And so, that I think is probably more realistic for Florida. But look, you're 5-2, go try and win the whole thing. But 2-2 would be hard for them to win the SEC if they'd have to go 3-1 or 4-0. And boy, I'm not sure the Lakers could go 4-0 against this stretch coming up.
If they go 2-2, they're 7-4 in the league. The next 4 games after that, home against South Carolina, home against Oklahoma, both teams are unranked, on the road at LSU, on the road at Georgia. That's 4 after playing 4 straight ranked teams.
That's 3 of the worst teams in the conference, and then a Georgia team that it seems like losing steam a little bit.
Yeah, so you play 4 straight ranked teams, Hayes. Then you play 4 straight unranked teams, and then you end the season with 3 straight ranked teams. So this 4-game stretch, if you can go 2-2, I'd be very surprised if you don't go at least 3-1 in the next 4 games. Now, listen, you almost lost to South Carolina, so anybody can beat anybody. But I would think if you get to 7-4, then I think you're probably getting to 10-5. I think you're probably going. Then if you're 10-5 with 3 games to play, then it's house money. Then it really is in terms of the tournament. Because you know what? You might get one of those and get to that 11th or 12th win. So I've said it all along, get to the 10 wins. People say, oh, they're going to be way better than that. I said early on, well, they're 5-2. They're going to get to the 10 wins. It's not automatic in that conference. Find a way to get to that 10th win. That to me is the goal. 10 wins in the league. I wouldn't sign up for 10-8 right now because I think they're better than that. But if you told me at the end of the season they were 10-8, I'd be okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
If someone said, would you take 10-8 right now? No, I'd rather play the games
than
when you're 5-2. But, there's some years I'd say I'd take it right now. I'm not there.
Yeah.
But if at the end of the year it's 10-8, I can live with it.
I heard Jay Billis say something a couple days ago that I never thought I'd hear Jay Billis say. Not just because he's, it's just we're not used to the SEC being this dominant, but he made the point that winning the SEC tournament will be harder than winning the national championship. And his point is because you have to go through. So it a lot of that's your draw.
Point, though, yeah.
But yes, to have to win 3 or 4 games in a row with when you're dealing with a league that right now has 5 teams that are in the top 10 in the country. Kentucky moved up to 10th overnight. So, you've got 1, 4, 5, 6, and 10 in the country, followed by A&M at 17, Ole Miss at 22, Mississippi State at 24, Missouri at 27, Texas at 31. It's just loaded.
It really is. And honestly, if you think about it, in the AP poll, I would probably say Duke and Iowa State other than Duke and Iowa State. And I've seen Houston a little bit. I've not seen Michigan State. They're always good under Tom Izzo, or often are. But I would think other than Duke and Iowa State, there aren't teams quite as elite as Florida. I do get that sense. So we'll see.
Big game tomorrow, and it will be really interesting to see how Florida handles the mental challenge of playing in front of 22,000 against a Tennessee team that desperately needs the win. They're 4-4 in the league after being undefeated going into
and
the league.
Lost at home to a wounded Kentucky team a few nights ago. Let's say hello to Rick Ballou.
Now, the 2-minute drill. Serviced by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. Locally owned and operated. We're your neighbors. Find the coolest cats in town at coolcatsjacks.com.
Anthony Campanile.
Campanile? Okay, I've heard Campanelli.
No, well, we thought that.
That's in Bert Campaneris.
We thought that, but then what we did is
Taylor Dahl was able to unearth, I'm assuming she unearthed this. She texted it to us. It's a video of Anthony actually saying his last name for Green Bay.
Would you believe I
reporters.
spent almost 30 minutes today going on YouTube trying to get whatever I could to pronounce his name, and every time they'd say Anthony Campanelli is now here, but he'd just take questions. Wouldn't mention his name.
Well, Campanile is what he's calling himself.
Campanile, like Cam Neely.
Yeah, what do you think? You like the hire?
I do. Are you old enough to remember the Anthony commercials? Or were they only regional growing up?
Anthony commercials.
In the north, it was the north end of Boston, and the mother lifted open the window and goes, Anthony! Anthony was running through the north end of Boston because every Wednesday was Spaghetti Day.
I do not remember that.
I didn't know if it was a regional spot. Maybe it was. It was huge in Boston. Anthony was number one in Boston.
There's an outside chance that if you watched it in Boston and it was about Boston, might have been regional.
Okay, so you're trying to tell me they weren't doing that in Lane Avenue? They weren't lifting up the windows going, Anthony! Down Lane. Okay, that's why I ask questions, man.
That's right.
We had Mikey Likes It,
we got that one there. Yeah, too. I mean, you only had 4 channels to choose from back then. That's why I figured you might have had
all the ones all the time. All right, very good. I like the hire. It seems to be an energy guy, right?
Yeah, he is, and I think we all remember the Hard Knocks piece. I openly wonder if is it tough love? Is that just the way he is? When things get rough, is he going to jump on these players? And if so, how are they going to react?
Yeah,
I think that's fair now, league-wide. Not only here in Jacksonville. We've seen the way that coaching has changed and how you got to be more buddy-buddy, the old days of discipline and stuff like that. Very few get away with it. Can this guy? And to me, that's going to be fascinating.
Look at this shot Scheffler's got. Rick Blue would have no trouble. Rick Blue would lob that thing right up there with no problem at all. Look at that.
Pebble Beach, baby.
How about Pebble?
Slice of heaven.
That's Pebble. What's coming up tonight?
We got quite a bit tonight. We're really looking forward to it. We'll certainly talk about that. Got a couple of other things that involve the Jaguars and a surprise coming up a little bit later on as well.
I love a surprise.
Yeah, Friday surprise.
Rick Ballou goes into the night. That comes up right now. We are out of here. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. Keep tracking those assistant coaches. You might see more. That'd be cool if you did. Florida, Tennessee, and the Rumble tomorrow night. I will be at the Rumble. I'm looking forward to it. 2 outstanding programs. JU and UNF. Can't wait to see them get together. I'll be at both Rumbles this year, and I look forward to it. That'll do it. Dylan, nice job filling in. We appreciate it.
You as well. Have a good weekend.
For the absent JJ, for Dylan, and for Hays Carlyon, I'm Frank Frangie. So long.